What's up, everybody? Welcome back. This is EVE Online. We're going through and we're doing exploration ship fitting. This is for Minmatar. And right before we get into this, check out the Errant Gamer podcast that I host every week, both on the website, and you can also find us on Twitch live streaming when we record it Monday or Tuesday evenings at 8 o'clock. You can find it to download on iTunes or Stitcher or any of those things. That said, let's jump right into it. There are two ships on the Minmatar line that are exploration ships. One is the Probe, and then one is the Tech2 or Covert Ops version of it, the Cheetah. We've got the Probe up right now, and like you saw maybe in the tutorial that I did on exploration, you can see that I'm just using the basic stuff, and in total it's running 884K to replace the ship and all of these components. So I've got like a Tech1 core probe launcher, I've got regular core scanner probes, 8 loaded in here, plus an additional 8 because it's good to have backups. They use 8 at a time, so you want to make sure you have 16 at all times. I've got a micro warp drive. I always grab the YT8 version. You can go with the Tech1 version if it's substantially cheaper, because the YT8 is 287K. That'll cheapen it up even more. Relic and Data Analyzer 1s, those are the most basic. Again, if you're an alpha character, this will be all you can afford, or maybe all you can afford, but probably all you can skill into. I prefer a cargo scanner. You can use a scan range finding array here if you want to increase your scan strength, but I find that it's good to scan things as I'm flying over to them, because a lot of times you'll find that you spend a lot of time opening up a can and it's got a lump of coal in it. So good exploration practices dictate that if you find something with coal in it, open it up, fail the minigame, open it up, fail the minigame, and blow that up. And then when you leave, having emptied or blown up everything that's there, that site will despawn and respawn into something else much quicker than if you had left like 2 cans with coal in them behind, which makes things better for you as an explorer and also for everyone else as an explorer. So try to make an effort to go and do that. But the cargo scanner, if you're in a pinch or if you're in very dangerous territory and you think you're being hunted, this will give you a way to see kind of where the most value is if you want to do that. So you can use this, or if you want more scan strength, you can pop a scan range finding array on there. We've talked a little bit about nanofiber internal structures, but like as opposed to inertial stabilizers, but let's look at it really quickly. So the nanofiber internal structure gives you some boost to velocity and a reduction in inertia modifier. So right now our align time is 4.6 seconds. To the payment that we make for those bonuses is we take a hit to our structure hit points. I'm okay with this because I'm not in a combat ship. I'm not going to be engaging in combat. Anything that's attacking me is probably going to kill me anyway, and they're not going to whittle away at me. They're going to do enough damage that they're going to probably kill me in at least 2 or 3 hits. And having 30% less structure isn't going to slow them down at all. So I like that trade. But the other way to go about it is to put on some of these. So remember, 4.6 seconds. You can get a little bit faster align time if you use inertial stabilizers. 4.6 to 4.14. So you gain half a second. The price you pay for that, if we look, is your signature radius gets bigger. So the whole reason we're doing this is because if you can get closer to 2 seconds, you're reducing the amount of time that somebody has to target you and kill you. So if somebody shows up and you immediately hit warp 2 something, you will take 4.14 seconds to align to that location and probably then enter warp, versus 4.6. Now, the amount of time it takes them to target you is partially dictated by your signature radius. So you're getting a half second faster align time, but you're giving up your signature radius and making it bigger, which makes you easier to target, not only for ships your size, but much easier for ships bigger than you. And that's one of the advantages that you have. So personally, I think it's worth using the nanofiber internal structures, and I'm pleased with the speed boost that I get in addition to it. This is personal. If you want to do it the other way, that's totally up to you, but this is where I'm at. It's worth noting also that there are, in all of the base ships, these Tech1 frigates for exploration, there is a little bit of capacity and capability for drones. You can control 3 light drones and you can house 7 of them, in the exception being the Galente ship, which you can house 8 and control 4 because, you know, they're drone specific. But this is the most basic level. And again, you can save some money if you want to get rid of this warp drive and just use a Tech1 version. Let's see, why don't we do that? Boom, there we go. So now we're looking at 640K for this ship, start to finish, which that's dirt cheap because you're going to be hauling in, even if you haul in 1 million and then you get destroyed on your next time out, you've made 400K and you've already covered your ship. So that's something to keep in mind. Now, once you get to be in a mega class and you have skilled out a lot of your frigate skills and your exploration skills, you can either upgrade to the Cheetah, which is the Tech 2 or Covert Ops ship version of the probe, or you can just keep that probe and put higher quality components on it, or higher, not just higher quality, but higher capability, right? So instead of the regular Tech 1 nanofiber internal structures, you can use Tech 2, or you can use a better core probe launcher, you can put rigs on it, you can use Tech 2 relic and data analyzers, and maybe the same cargo scanner. So let's walk through it. One way to increase your scanning ability is to upgrade your core probe launcher to a Sisters of Eve core probe launcher. Now, this right off the top gives you a 10, oh, no, I powered it off. There we go, let's look at this. So it gives you a 10% bonus to your scan strength. That's great. But it's not so great when you look at this and you realize that the probe launcher itself is 32. That's a very optimistic price. 32 to 40 million ISK by itself, right? So when our ship and all of its components are coming in at just under 70 million, and 32 to 40 of it is this one component, you have to ask yourself if that's worth it. It might be for you, and it is for some people. But for me, it never has been because I get blown up and then I'm really sore about having lost that much money on one component. Another way is to use, instead of the standard core scanner probes, to use Sisters of Eve's core scanner probes. And they have certain bonuses built into them as well. So, worth knowing that there are some ways to improve it. There are these gravity capacitor upgrades. Each of them also adds 10% to your scan strength. There are rigs that you can use that increase your virus strength when hacking or your virus strength when analyzing relics, but there are no rigs that allow you to give bonuses to both. So you'd have to pick one up for hacking and one up for archaeology, and it just seems not like a great trade-off. So because they're so specific, most people go with the scan strength rigs here. The Tech 2 version of the relic analyzer and data analyzer is definitely worth it. Not just worth skilling into, but very much worth the cost of the item. It gives you more, let's see, I'll show you exactly what it does. So it gives you much bigger virus coherence and a much greater virus strength. So that's very much worth the money and the time. And you can, upgrade your micro warp drive or your cargo scanner. But you notice that some of these ships, both the, I think it was the Amar and the Minmatar, have power grid issues. So if your skills aren't up to snuff, you're going to need to sacrifice something, maybe this micro warp drive. I don't know. Yeah, you're going to have to find a way to get that extra power grid back. Maybe it's here, you just put a little power unit up here in the rig. But I think that you'll get it back if you get rid of this Sisters of Eve core probe launcher. So let's pull that up. Oh, maybe not. Yeah, you don't get it back just by pulling it off, and anything we add is going to remove. Anyway, so these are the ways to upgrade your ship. There are definitely constraints if you don't have the skills for it. You need to skill up in order to equip a lot of this stuff, but a lot of these things can be used on your Tech 1 variant. Lastly is a Covert Ops Cloak cloaking device. As the name might imply, The Tech2 Covert Ops cloaking device is only usable on Covert Ops ships or other. There are some exceptions, but essentially that's the case. If you want to have a cloak on your Tech1 ship, you have to use a prototype cloaking device. The difference between the two is the prototype cloaking device, you can, as long as you are sitting in space, you can activate it if nothing is within 2,500 meters of you, and then you can fly around and do what you please, and you'll be invisible to other people in the area, to scan probes, to anything really. If somebody or something gets within 2,500 meters of you, either because they went there themselves or you flew near something, you will drop cloak, and you won't be able to enter warp for like a couple seconds afterwards while the whole thing cools down. The flip side, this Tech2 Covert Ops version of it makes it so that you can enter warp while cloaked and stay warped, or while you're in warp you can enter cloak and drop out of warp and remain cloaked. So I think it's valuable. You can decide whether it's worth the expense. On a Tech2 ship, I think it's worth it. It's $5 million for the Covert Ops cloak, I believe. Yeah, around $5 million at the cheapest, $5 to $6 million. The prototype cloaking device is $1.5 million. So if you have a ship like our probe here, and we get rid of that and put the Tech1, yeah, there we go. All right, so let's say we do this. This is our ship. Right now we're at 640K. If we want to slap on a cloaking device, oh, here we go. Let's type in here. There we go. There we go. So if we slap this baby on here, we went from 600K to 2.1 million, because this by itself is 1.5 million. So if your goal is to have a disposable, cheap ship, adding a prototype cloaking device might not be the best choice for you. Just leaving it at 640K and just, you know, being out in the open and figuring if you die, you die, that may make the most sense. And I think in these low ships, it might be the best choice. But again, that's personal and that's up to you. So you can decide what makes the most sense. The Tech2 or the Covert Ops ships, you might also notice, none of them allow, except for the Galente version, none of them allow you to have any drones anymore. The Galente allows you to have one drone. So I don't know what that's worth, but in every one of these other ships, while they're nice and, you know, they allow you to use these Covert Ops cloaks, they remove any capability for you to defend yourself. So before you invest or drop 40 million or 70 million into this ship and all of its components, think about, you know, how you're going to save yourself in the instance of a fight. Your one drone or even your 3 drones wouldn't have saved you, but there it is. So that's it for the Minmatar exploration ship fitting. Over the next few videos, we'll get into maybe some of the Sisters of Eve ships and just other ship fitting options that you have, and then we'll get into hacking, analyzing, scanning, and just sort of the mechanics behind exploration as a whole. And hopefully, maybe we'll put up some longer videos while we jump around and look for things to get into. So thank you for watching. Thank you for the questions to DG Rage Riot and Victor Korea. I'll get into the mining and industry stuff after some of this exploration, and we'll get through it. So thank you for the suggestions. If you have anything you want to learn about, hit me up in the comments. Check out the Errant Gamer podcast, which I host on a weekly basis, and I think that's it. So thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.